So I finally got my Leopard Gecko's permanent home set up, and I'm going to give you a little tour because there's so many elements of this tank that aren't going to show up on photos because of the way they're hidden. Everything's put in here. So I'm going to just kind of show you everything, explain to you everything, and then we're going to go ahead and put my gecko in it. For starters, this is just a basic 10-gallon aquarium. You'll see it's a metal frame, and then the glass is actually set into this entire metal frame. And I'm not going to be able to show you this, but the bottom of the tank is actually slate rock. This is actually an antique aquarium, and it was given to me for free. Somebody had adopted a corn snake, and this is what the guy gave him with the corn snake. Didn't even have a screen with it. They were covering it with a board, apparently. So the guy that adopted it got a much better tank and just used this to keep feeder mice in. But this tank, when I got it, was a mess. This tank is completely refurbished. When I got it, these glass here would pop in and out, like you could hear it on the sides, just bang back and forth. You can hear now. It's not going anywhere. You can see it's very sturdy. So I've actually sealed this entire tank, the inside, with a clear silicone caulking to make it waterproof and to hold the glass in. When I got it, the entire top, all four sides, was covered in duct tape. So I had a lot of scraping and scrubbing to get all that tape residue off. And then this back wall was actually on the outside splattered with this horrible green-yellow paint. So again, a lot of scraping and scrubbing to get that off. I have also waterproofed the slate bottom on both the inside and the outside, so that in the event that a little water from the bowl gets spilled, it's not going to come seeping out of the tank. So I've done a basic waterproofing regimen. Pretty sure the tank is not going to be able to hold water, but it'll hold up to, you know, urine and some light water spills okay. Actually, the screen for it's down here, and there's no heat lamp or anything on the tank yet. It's actually going to be moving to the heat lamp. I have my gecko in her temporary cage sitting on the heat mat right now. So after I put her in it, this will be going on the heat mat. So let me show you what's in here. I have some sand substrate here. A lot of people have used sand with leopard geckos. I know a lot of people don't like to use sand with leopard geckos. But she is not getting fed in this live prey in this tank. So she will not be ingesting any kind of substrate. She is fed entirely from a bowl, which you can see there's actually dishes back here. It's her little food bowl, which has worms in it for her already, and here's her water dish. These bowls are actually from the person that bred her, so she's completely used to this exact type of bowl and being fed from a bowl. So I'm keeping her that way. There's no chance of her ingesting substrate because she's not going to be chasing loose crickets around. If I was feeding her loose crickets, I would either feed them out of a cricket dish or move her to a substrate-free critter carrier during that time so that she cannot ingest any sand. So if you do choose to use sand, I highly recommend that you only feed them from a bowl or feed them from tongs. Don't let them chase free prey around the tank where if they miss, they're going to get a mouthful of sand. And if they get a mouthful of sand, if they're anything like my crested gecko, they will eat it thinking they caught a cricket. So just don't do it. So I am taking steps and being very careful that she's not going to eat any of this. I did get a special sand here. This is a calcium sand. It's by Reptile Sciences. But what's really nice about this, unlike a lot of sands, is instead of being just odd-shaped sand that can be kind of rough, this is actually designed that the grains of sand are perfectly spherical, just like natural occurring sand, so that it is no way abrasive, such as the Caribbean sand may be, because it doesn't have the spherical grains. This is also silica-free, which is awesome, and phosphate-free. So again, less abrasive, less less stuff in it. Again, digestible calcium carbonate, usually reptile sands are. So, pretty nice. I've heard a lot of good reviews about this particular brand. And I decided to use only this brand because of the fact that it does have the natural spherical grains instead of the, you know, the square and sharp grains. So it is less abrasive and softer. And if she does get a little bit of it, it's not gonna hurt or scrape her insides. It's just like natural occurring sand, like she would encounter in her wild habitat, only it's purple. And made of calcium carbonate, not rock. I don't have a very thick layer. It's not too much, and you can see it kind of spreads out. I didn't get it evened out very well. I'm sure she's going to dig in it and kind of take care of that anyway. And then, first thing I want to point out is I actually have this neat little shelf built in here. And this is just a cut wooden shelf. And then again, I used clear silicone caulking to attach it in, very strong. Used some hot glue as well. This here is just a piece of egg crate on the edge to make a little lip to hold some sand up here. This is a very thin layer. I'm sure she'll be kicking it down off of there, and I'm going to be always putting it back, more than likely. And then for her to be able to get up to this second shelf, which I put this in here just to give her a little more floor space. 10-gallon is considered minimum, absolute minimum for a single adult leopard gecko, not a giant, the regular sized ones. But I wanted to make sure I gave her some extra space, so I wanted to build the second floor in here, which increases her living space to almost that of a 15-gallon, and then I tried to put some things she can climb on as well to give her as much living room as possible. In order for her to be able to get up here to the second ramp, I have this here, this hide, and this is a 3-level ramp hide from Petco. I caught this is normally $19.99. I caught it when it's 50% off and only paid $10 for it. But the entry hole's over here, so she can go in here, she can lay on this bottom level. Remember, this is going to be her hot side, so she'll be able to hide in here. This is her warm side hide, and it doubles as an access ramp to get up here to this shelf. So it's serving two functions in one. This is her warm hide as well as ramp access to this shelf. So she can go in here, she's got the bottom, and then there's a little ramp here, she get up here, and then you have the other ramp here to get up to the top and into here. I have this plant here. I just kind of shoved in there along the side. She might be able to kind of get between the plant and the back corner of this hide to come in and out. I don't know. But the plant is shoved in here very firmly, because even with this hide pushed up as close to this ramp as I can, since it's a corner ramp, there was this big hole right here that she would have been able to come out of the access hole, which is right here, and then would have been able to kind of like slide down down to the bottom floor. And I didn't want her to get hurt by doing that, by sliding down or falling off. So I shoved this plant in here to kind of fill up that hole. It's really the only reason why it's there, is to fill up the hole. But it adds some nice color too. This here is a piece of mopani. It's just a little itty bitty piece of natural mopani wood that I had bought in some time back for my fish tank. It's not big or anything. I don't think she's gonna be able to crawl under it or anything. It's just an accent decoration. She can climb on top of it though. I don't really expect her to spend much time up here, but I wanted to give her the option of more floor space if she would like it. I have some seashells. There's one that's just a flat-backed snail shell. I have a mussel shell back here. I have a piece of a clam shell over here. I have this like destroyed piece of another, I don't know, shell, spiral shell over here. And then I have like pieces. I have a piece from a clamshell here and a piece of a clamshell in the back there. These are all natural seashells that I've collected ever since I was a kid. Just kind of took them from my own personal collection. Again, just as accent, just as color, just to kind of make this theme look a little more fun and a little bit more beachy. It's supposed to kind of look like she's having a little beach party here, which is why the plants I decided to use actually look like kelp. So I have this like red kelp one here, and this is, I have it hung up by a suction cup, and it's draped down. It'll give her a little cover there, drapes down all the way here, and it's gonna, you know, give her cover, make her feel more secure when she's back underneath the shelf. And then, you know, kind of draping here around the bowls. Just a nice accent, nice cover. Adds a little bit color to the tank. I have another one over here, a green one. Again, just to make her feel more secure. When she's in this side of the tank, she can quickly run up there and not feel so exposed in that corner. This is her cool side. This here is, let's do things. This here is just a branch, a hermit crab branch that I bought a while ago. I'd bought in this, what did I buy it for? I bought it for my giant praying mantis, because I did a neon fluorescent theme for her, and it happened to fluoresce. So I got that, and I mean, she died of old age. So I kind of just threw it in here. It gives my gecko something else to climb on. She can really easily hook her paws, her fingers, and her claws into all the little holes to climb, since leopard geckos, as you may know, don't have the lamellae or the sticky pads on their feet. So if they have some texture, they can climb with their claws, or if they have something they can really hook their fingers into, they can climb a little bit. So I kind of threw that in there. Just gives her something else to climb on. Adds, again, more color to the tank. I just had it laying around, so I figured why not? It couldn't hurt. Because it is something, like I said, she can climb on. It's just along the wall, so it's not taking up any floor space, but it gives her more vertical room. I'm going to stand this up temporarily. Corner. This here is an actual real coconut, half piece of a coconut shell. And this was something I actually acquired this second-handed. It was given to me free with an Exoterra I had bought. It was somebody had it for their leopard geckos, and when their last one died, they sold their Exoterra and everything with it. So she just threw this in, and I threw it in with my leopard gecko, and she absolutely loves it. So when I was trying to decide exactly what to do theme-wise for her her permanent adult setup, I decided to come up with something that I could incorporate the coconut and it wouldn't look so out of place. So I came up with this fun beachy theme. I have that sitting on top of this here. This here is a little Betty Crocker container, and I used I cut a hole in it. There's a little thing here, I can lift it up. The lid pops off, and then I have moist moss in there. This is and there's the entry hole. This is her humid hide for her, and it's buried down under the sand. At least half the container is. And then I just covered like the lid and the sides of the lid and a little bit on the sides. I used more of the clear caulking and just kind of sprinkled sand over it and let it dry. And then I coated it with a clear acrylic spray to kind of seal it a little better. Unfortunately, it did not work very well, but I figured it was worth a shot. So I just coated it with the sand to give it texture and to help it kind of just blend into the setting. So now it kind of looks like a sand dune, a little flat sand, sand shelf, little purple sand shelf. So she can go climb inside of there for humid. So she's got humidity to shed. And then I stuck the coconut. Oops. There we go. Plant. Whatever. And then I stuck the coconut hide on top of it. So she can climb on top of the coconut, she can climb on top of here, she can go inside the coconut, so that she has a non-humid place to hide on the cool side. She's got the coconut. And like I said, this here is just, that's just for accent, just for some color. Another place for her to climb. Seashells just for color. I originally wanted this really nice blue ribbon sandcastle as well to put in the back, which obviously I don't really have the room for since it would have just been an access piece. But I really like how this turned out. And most of the stuff I had on hand. This bag of sand cost me about $8.99. And like I said, the hide's normally 20 bucks. I got it on sale for 20. The plant I already had. It's just a plant from the dollar store, glued to a rock using hot glue, which is just melted plastic. And I made that a while back for my leopard gecko and ended up replacing it with a coconut hide because she needed a humid hide. We were having some shedding problems. So I happen to have that on hand. Seashells, just stuff from my seashell collection from a kid. These are just plastic plants from my old 10-gallon fish tank from my old aquarium back when I used to keep goldfish. So, and they're just held up with suction cups, plastic suction cups that have plastic hooks, completely unabrasive and everything. I took the plastic bottoms off of them. She shouldn't be able to climb it or anything, so not really worried or anything about that. So, like I said, I had this on hand. This I got. I bought the plastic container at the dollar store, and I already had caulking. And the dishes in the back I bought from the breeder for $1 a piece. So, not expensive, and they're tall enough that even the water dish should keep most of the sand out of it. Even with her digging and whatnot, shouldn't really be getting sand in there. So, wanted to make sure I had a water dish that was tall enough to keep sand out of it during her daily walking around and digging around and whatnot. So I really like these dishes, and they're so small. They don't really take up a lot of space, which is nice too. Like I said, this is also what she's used to eating and drinking out of since she was a hatchling. So this is the bowls that came out of her tank. So we can go ahead and put her in here, hopefully, and see how she likes it. But she's over here in the back. This is a like 5-gallon critter keeper that I set up before I went to the reptile show where I bought her, because I was planning on coming home with a itty-bitty little baby and came home with a slightly older baby leopard gecko. And unfortunately, she's been kind of stuck in this cage. There we go. See, kind of watch me do this, guys. Kind of look at her. Sorry. She's been unfortunately stuck in this cage ever since I brought her home, which was, oh my god, I don't even know how far back. I think it was back in October I got her, and it's now January. So, she's been in here a while. Way longer than she should have. You can see she doesn't look over cramped, but she doesn't really have a lot of room. And remember, her coconut hide was where she was. Her bowls were over here. I had a piece of crate, this egg crate in there just for more cover, which she climbed on. She loves climbing on top of her coconut. So this was her humid hide. This was the container that she came home from the reptile show in. I just cut an access hole and put damp paper towel in there, which is probably now very, very dry. But we're going to try and get her out. She's a little spooked. She's friendly once you get her, but she's not. She just is very, very spooked all the time. Especially right now with everything that's going on. She doesn't know what to expect. Here, girl. So I kind of just set my hand in there. You know, let her get a smell. Let her take a look at it. Let her kind of ascertain that I'm not here to eat her. Then I'll slowly approach her. Try not to get bit. Pet her. Let her know that everything's okay. She's actually doing very good right now. And then usually at that point I can gently work my hands under her and pick her up. She's probably not going to stay very good. Girl, you're kind of awkward in my hands. She's a bold stripe, temp sex female bold stripe from Monster Reptiles. I've not done a video on her at all since I brought her home. She's getting a lot more speckling. Her striping's kind of breaking up. Still got an almost perfect stripe on her tail though. It's really nice. She's very yellow. Hey, girly, what are you doing? Silly. Ugh, so silly. But she's a girl, like I said, she's rather friendly. A little bit skittish. She had a bad run-in with the cat, which is my fault. I feel so bad. But you can see she's just fine. She's just more cautious than she used to be. There you go. Thinking she's more of a jungle than a bold stripe, but I'm going to go ahead and put her in her new tank, and then we'll move it back. I'm actually going to start by sticking her up here on the shelf so that she realizes there's a shelf. Don't jump. No, we're just gonna... Really? Missy? Yep. We're just gonna walk down there anyway. You know, never mind that you have a way to get up there. Yep. Which is okay. That's actually part of the reason why I didn't put the shelf too high. I tried to make sure that the shelf was not much higher than she could stand when she's full grown. So that if she decides that she doesn't want to use this and be smart and just kind of flop down on the floor like she just did, that she's not going to hurt herself. It's not that far of a drop. It's not that far of a drop that she can even get up or walk down on her own. So, but yeah. Looks like she's checking things out. Oh, she found her food. She totally wants her food. See her there. But we're gonna leave her be now. Let her check everything out. A lot of room for you now, girly, huh? You can see this is not a bad size at all for her. She is almost full grown. There's plenty of space, especially with her extra shelf and everything that she can climb into or on top of. So I may add a piece of cork bark along this back wall yet for her, so she's got a little vertical textured space she can climb up yet. But we'll see how adventurous she is with what's in here first. But like I said, in her other hide, she loved crawling on top of her coconut as well as being in it, so she doesn't look too skittish under all the plants. So, well, there you go. That is Talayla checking out her food and looking pretty happy. And this was my Dreamer's Cove tank.